Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are back with another review for The Chi Season 4, Episode 5. When the episode first opens up, we see, they're showing us all the things that have happened previously on The Chi, right? But as they get into it, we see Tiff getting her edibles eaten by Dante, okay? And Emmett's getting a little fellatio of his own. He not even enjoying it, y'all. Honey, staring off into space as if he was thinking of what to eat for dinner. Child, he was like, girl, just go ahead and get it over with. Tiff, on the other hand, was getting her entire climatic life, okay? Tiff was doing what needed to be done. Do y'all hear me? And this is the thing. Emmett really does not, we all know Emmett really does not want this open relationship. He actually wants to be with Tiff and only Tiff. You know, he's done his dirt in the past, but now he's trying to make things right, but I guess too little too late. Whereas Tiff, I feel like she's falling in full-on love over there with Dante, but she's trying to mask it as an open relationship. That's just my assessment of it. So Tracey wakes up at Douda's house because, they did the do last night and Candy sat there and watched, right? So she's waking up at Douda's place after a night of Candy's voyeurism. AKA Rosalind. As she's waking up, she walks down the stairs, right? And Rosalind says, congrats. She said, what exactly? For what? She's like, oh, you screwed the mayor of Chicago. Oh, Rosalind, girl, goodbye, honey. She said, so what do I win? She said, what do you want? She said, I can't let you, I can't let you do that, because she said she was trying to leave, right? She said, oh, no, I can't let you do that, honey. The entire place is covered by protesters. And this was my thing. Okay, even though the place was covered by protesters, y'all not allowed to have visitors? What are y'all in Sing Sing? Like, she came over and maybe she was hanging out with you. Now she's leaving. What's wrong with that? But, of course, she can't leave because the protesters are surrounding the building, right? Because of the whole defund the police. Rosalind invites her to have breakfast because what else is she going to do since she can't leave? Honey, better watch Rosalind, honey. She'll be gobbling you up next. Over on the other side, we see Kevin and his mom and Dre. They're at the therapist, right? And she says, Kevin has a drinking problem. And I'm happy she's finally come to terms with it and knows exactly what's going on with her son. He said, no, I don't. Dre explains, to them, look. He's been through a lot, but everybody in the house is going through something. Even me and you, we're going through our things. And I'm like, oh, they arguing too? Child, I knew something was going to unfold between Nina and Dre. Apparently, Nina and Dre are having a few issues. And I bet she going to think that Dre is cheating and sneaking around with Jada. Now, I've been thinking this ever since she's been sneaking to take her to her appointments. Okay, so Nina said, I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted. And you know what? Parenting can be very exhausting. So Kevin said, I'm tired too. He said, I feel like they're all over me all the time. So then Nina said, yeah, I almost lost a daughter last year, which is understandable. And she's suffering right now. So she said, look, I almost have panic attacks every time I leave the house. I don't want to get a call that y'all are dead. So, my nerves are just all over the place. And after last year, I will feel the exact same way. So I do not blame Nina in the slightest. The therapist asked Kevin, she said, hey, do you think you can be trusted with more freedom? So he was like, no, they don't trust me. And then Dre was like, listen, we believe in you. Kevin over there thinking about Jemma, honey, because this is the problem. When you're a teenager, you have so many things going on in your mind that you think are such a big deal because they are a big deal to you in that moment and at the time. So you're not really even hearing what people are saying to you. And they're talking to Kevin, but he's really not paying them anybody's attention, okay? Because he's sitting over there thinking about Jemma, getting close to Jake, and not answering that text. That's exactly what Kevin is thinking about in this moment. So on the next scene, we see Jemma and Jake, and they are at the principal's office, okay? So Douda is there. I guess they got in trouble for that broadcast that she did on her show. So Douda is there saying that Jake did the right thing. He looked at him. He said, you have a right to speak your speech, basically is what he said. He said, you did the right thing. He said, so then here's the guy. He incited violence on her show. So that show has to be put on hold. Well, Jemma was not having that, okay? Her and her fro and Jake, they walk right on out because he has made them mad. Do y'all hear me? So Douda tells the principal, no, he told Douda, he said, and whatever happened to, a good old butt whooping? He said, that doesn't always work. He said, it's better to show them the power of their words. Comment down below which one you prefer. Do you think, spare the rod, spoil the child? Or do you think you should give your child free reign to express themselves? Or do you think it's a little bit of both? Like, if you get too out of hand, I'm gonna have to spank you. But other than that, go ahead and speak your speech. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that down below in the comments. He said, look, what happens when you do that? He said, I don't know. It allows them to think for themselves. Maybe that. So I'm curious to know, who do y'all agree with? I don't agree Jake should be silenced about his experience, because that's the issue now. We always have to put a muzzle on our thoughts and what we feel, and don't nobody got time for all that. Knucking his girl walking down the street, right? Trinity. And she looking scared as hell, y'all. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. Even still, I'm not sure if she's being sex trafficked or if he's her pimp. Maybe somebody can comment down below and tell me which one it is. Because, I'm thinking he's her pimp, but I'm not sure. So they stop at the store and she's getting cornered by Imani. Apparently, they have a plan for her to escape, right? So she knew that she was going to be at the store at this time. So she tells her, look, I can sneak out tonight. And so Imani was like, okay, well, let me give you this phone so you can call me. Over at Nina's house, there's a couple meeting Keisha, right? Now, something was a little off about this couple. And they come in, they're meeting Keisha. They start telling Keisha about themselves and how they have other adopted kids as well, right? So Keisha said, listen, are you the kind of family that constantly reminds the kids that they're adopted? She said, no, they know that they're adopted. They know they were born in another woman's belly, but they were born in our hearts. I don't trust it. Sound too cookie cutter to me. I don't trust it. June and Ward Cleaver, I'm not buying it. Okay? Keisha looked so unimpressed, honey. She was looking like, okay, Child, she wants to keep that baby. That's just my thoughts as I'm watching the beginning of the episode, okay? So Keisha asked, well, how many kids are you going to adopt? She said, well, hopefully this one will be the last. So then they told her she's making the godly decision. Keisha looks at them. She said, this is not about God. God had nothing to do with it. And he said, well, you blessing a family is the godly thing to do. You didn't get an abortion or anything like that. Now, they don't know Keisha's circumstance. So to their defense, they're just saying, hey, you're doing something and blessing another family. So you're doing God's work. That's what I took from it. But Keisha took it like, we don't want a bunch of Bible thumpers raising this baby. That's the way she took it. Jemma is planning a walkout at third period, right? So Kevin up there asking, well, how are we going to make that work? And they're looking at him like, oh, Lord, here's Debbie Downer. So he's like, well, how are you going to make sure that everybody knows? She said, I'm going to DM them all on Instagram. So you are going to DM the entire school on Instagram? Girl, go on, honey. Kevin said, you basically just want to get credit. She said, everyone in BAM is trustworthy. Are they now? And he said, y'all crazy. Jake said, just because you're scary don't mean we are. He said, I just got my freedom. Not Kevin sounding like Amistad. Give us free. Boy, if you don't go. Kevin sounded like he just got some freedom papers. Jake said, why you sound like a runaway slave? Honey, he really did. Because that's exactly what I thought when he said, I just got my freedom. Jemma said, look, technically, we all live on a big plantation, but that's a conversation for another day. Please do not get her started, child. Do not get Jemma started. I do like that she has a voice, though, and will stand up for what she believes in because it's an admirable quality. So whenever she's, standing on her soapbox, baby, speaking for our people, honey, I'm all down for it. But when she started doing all this little side talk and trying to act like she knows everything and she want to run Kevin, that part I don't like. But I do appreciate that she stands up for herself. Kevin said, my parents just got off my back. They have trust issues. I don't want to get in trouble. And I can see his point in a way, but I don't think that you'll be grounded for a walkout. Like, you come home drunk before, okay? And I ain't did nothing to you, honey. Still walk the streets at night. But you think you're going to get in so much trouble because you stand up for something you believe in? I don't know if I'm buying it. Jake and Jemma are down, okay? But Kevin reminds Jake, look, these rich kids, they're going to be okay. Us, not so much. Well, we all know that Douda going to take care of Jake, so we don't have to worry about him. And her daddy's money's long, so she'll be fine. But Kevin, you might be in a different situation, so I understand you thinking of both sides. Kevin said, your dad got money. He can bail you out. Jemma said, ain't nobody calling the cops. He said, spoken like the rich girl that you are. Well, let me tell you something, Kevin. You better not text her tonight because she sure not answering, honey. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You done already made her mad. Keisha and Tiff, they sitting down talking about how crazy her and Emmett are. And how EJ needs some church because his parents are off the chain, okay? So Keisha was like, well, where is EJ? She was like, I don't know. Tiff was like, he might be at his mom's, my mom's. Hell, might even be with your mama. Tiff don't know where her kid is. Let me tell you something. I don't know if they don't have a budget for the baby this season, but that child is not being seen because they don't have the coins to pay that child, honey. So she said her and Emmett are trying something new. So Keisha was like, what y'all trying? She said, stay out of my business, girl. Then Keisha gonna say, girl, we used to share that ninja. Touche, honey. But this is my thing. I don't understand how Tiffany always get in the mix with people that have shared her man's peen. She's so free, honey. Oh, I wish I was that mature, but I'm not. Okay, I just have to speak my speech and tell my truth. Child, I know some women cool with that ex, but not I, said the cat. Emmett comes over trying to find out what they're talking about, and you already know Tiff gonna shut him down because she runs him, okay? So they go to the back, and she's like, why you didn't tell me that you screwed Donna? He said, I didn't even know you knew Donna. She said, you know I know that tramp from my old job that used to be spreading rumors about me. Honey, y'all are giving real baby boy tease, okay? Jody and Yvette, if you don't do something else, honey, if you don't go on, child, I'm like, okay, let's let Jody and Yvette hear it out and fuss it out, child. So Tiff was like, you asked for this, so you can't get mad now. And Emmett said, look, I can't keep up with every person that you hate. Emmett said, we're open now, so I can stick my pin wherever I want to. You can't say anything about it. And that is true. So then Tiffany said, I smelled. He was like, well, how did you know I was even with her anyway? She said, I smell her cheap perfume all over the couch. So girl, that's the only heifer wearing Victoria's Secret love spell? Girl, no thank you. He was like, you got too many rules, which she does. And she got mad because he brought her home, and she was like, don't be bringing these tramps home. Have you lost your mind? You need to have some respect. And she was like, you need to have some respect for me. Honey, this whole thing is disrespectful if you ask me. So we really can't just throw respect in there, you know, like a dash of salt every now and again. It doesn't work like that. So Emmett said, well, obviously old boy must have something you like because you keep going back over there. Truth be told, honey, they're in a relationship low-key. So Emmett, I don't know if you know, honey, but your woman is in a full-on relationship over there with Dante. He said, he must have something you like. She said, you want me to diversify? Girl, not acting like you talking about your financial portfolio. Not diversify. Child, the writers of the shot are a fool. Do y'all hear me? Emmett said, no, I want you to stop playing house with that man, which she is doing. And so she was like, we need to set some ground rules. Emmett ain't feeling it, just like he wasn't feeling that head the other night, okay? Amani is over there waiting for the girl to show up, right? But she never showed. And I was thinking, okay, something about to go down. Because you remember in the earlier seasons of The Shy, when you see people just sitting by themselves, they either about to get shot, they're about to get killed. Honey, the contract is over, so they have to write them out. Something is about to happen. But nothing happened. The girl didn't show up, and she just left. So Jemma and Jake, you know, they over there getting their fight the power on, and they're stuffing the lockers to let people know that the walkout is happening, right? So Kevin walks up asking if he can help. And she's like, yeah, so you want to help now? He's like, listen, I can't be out like that. Kevin is so conflicted in this moment because it's like he wants to help, but at the same time, he doesn't really know what to do. Over on the other side, Keisha goes to visit Octavia, which is played by Tabitha Brown. And, you know, she asks the reception, and she's like, how long you work for her? She's like, who are you now? She said, my name's Keisha. Oh, yeah, well, she's very private, but I don't know. She greets me with a smile every morning. I've been here 7 years. And when my dad died, and when my mom died, she paid for the funeral because my dad had just lost his job. But I don't know much. Girl, oh my goodness, son, this is getting unrealistic to me at this point. So she takes her on back for her to wait for Octavia, right? And she's like, well, this is a nice surprise. What are you doing here? She said, I want to ask you a few more questions. So she started asking her about, you know, about the things that she's built. She said, if I were a building, what would I be? She said, strong, sturdy, and able to withstand fires. I loved it, honey. Too strong to ever be destroyed. I know that's right, honey, because after you escaped that man, all thanks to Rodney, girl, oh my goodness. Yeah, you definitely are a building that cannot be destroyed. It's time for the walkout, okay? Jake and Jemma get up, they walk out. Nobody else moves, right? Nobody. Dakota, who is their little Caucasian friend, honey, she's waiting. And she's waiting there like, where is everybody? She said, well, You said the revolution will not be televised. She's like, girl, shut up. Honey, and please stop using our lines, okay? Honey, quiet, pipe down. So the walkout was a bust, and the principal isn't even there. So Jake, he was like, look, I got a plan. So Jake pulls the fire alarm, right? So he and Jemma, they take off running for whatever reason because nobody was chasing them. You would think when a fire alarm goes off, then the fire alarm just goes off and everyone comes out of class. So who are y'all running from? But that's neither here nor there. Don said, look, I'll stay behind and be the white shield. Oh, my goodness. See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying right here. Child, a mess. Jake and Jemma, they get to running, honey. They run all the way away from the school, and they can't go home too early because then the parents will be, they'll catch on to something being up, right? So they go to hang out. Douda dressing Tracey up like Pretty Woman, okay, because we see him putting her in these dresses, and she's introducing him at some type of event, right? And she's like, I'm surprised I'm introducing you and not your wife. He's like, it'll be better for a pillar of the community to introduce me instead of my wife. Child, now they in a full-on relationship. It's a whole bunch of relationships being had, okay? Tracey and Douda, they're in a relationship, whether they know it or not. You got Tiff and Dante, they're in a relationship. Poe Emmett, he's just having it so hard, child. I don't even know. So Papa and Kevin are over in the next scene. They're talking, and he's talking about, him and Jemma because he's feeling a little down. So Papa said, well, maybe you can come on my show and you can, talk to her about it. And he's like, man, I don't want to come on your show. Papa said, that's the problem. You're selfish. You don't want to help me. You don't want to help Jemma or even yourself. So then Kevin starts thinking about it, right? He's like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. It's whatever. And I'm so happy to see you, Papa. Hey, honey. I love to see Papa on the scene. He gonna give us what we need. While Keisha is at Octavia's office, right, she starts having contractions. And I'm like, oh, child, not the baby coming this early. Emmett and Tiff getting the rules straight, right? They walk over to the car and they get in. She said, oh, and another thing, I don't want them in the house or I don't want them in the car. He said, well, technically this is my car, but okay. Then she said, tell them you're married before y'all get into the bed and get into it as y'all get into it. He said, I object. Most women don't want to have sex with a married man. No, we don't. Okay. She said, well, he said, protect the black queens is real out in these streets. So then Tip gonna say, well, find a white girl. Child, oh my goodness. Okay. So then Emmett was like, no, I don't want a white girl. I don't like white girls. She was like, well, you better find somebody free-spirited. I'm like, this little girl is a mess. So then he said, my turn. No more Dante. She said, I object. Child, what in the mock court case is happening in this car? I was looking at this scene like, this might be my last season of The Chi, honey. Because y'all, it's the directions and the writing and this is not making no sense. So she was like, I object, honey. I'm sure you do. Okay. She said, you don't get to make rules for me. Say what now? She said, he said, well, you making rules for me. She said, no, I'm giving you limitations. He said, well, that's my limitation. Oh, baby, she falling for Dante. She is falling. Okay. I'm just saying, honey, woo, that is a mess. So then she said, well, he was here before litigation. He said, what does that even mean? Well, he was here before this conversation even took place, so he's off limits. He said, overruled. So him and Tiff in the car playing Judge Judy and Judge Mathis. Emmett, she is not leaving that man alone, so just leave it alone. She gets mad, saying he wants her to be sliding down all these poles or just sliding down one pole. Child, now she getting rowdy about her having sex with multiple men when you are the one who came up with the fact that y'all should have an open relationship. This is foolishness, honey. This is why that will never work. Well, not for me. Now, it might work for some, but it'll never work for me. And Poe Emmett, he's so hurt on the inside, so he just agrees finally. He caves, and he's like, you know what? Okay. But Emmett, quiet as it's kept, though. You made that monster when you decided to sleep with all these girls, and now, honey, she just want to do what she wants to do. And she wants to keep you, too. Okay? So be happy she keeping you. But at the same time, you created a monster. Then we see her at Dante's house, right? Baby, she lights up when she is with him. Baby, she is on one. Emmett, you're in danger. Danger! Shout out to Mystical. Papa over there doing a little live with Kevin, right? And he's expressing himself and telling Jemma to answer the phone. Kevin over there begging like he sweat. Meanwhile, Jemma eating fish sandwiches across the town with Jake, honey. Tracey and Imani are talking about the trap house, right? Because Imani bust up in the community center where the police, who are now the community people, child, I don't know, it's a mess. Imani busts up in the place and she wants to tell her about the trap house, right? Tracy's like, I've been trying to get rid of that trap house for years. So Imani was like, look, I went to go meet one of the girls and she never showed up. She said, either handle it or I'm going to handle it for you. Okay? And you already know that Trig does not want no smoke when it comes to Imani. Keisha is at the hospital because remember she had these contractions and they tell her it was Braxton Hicks, but her blood pressure is high, so they need to induce labor. So while she's there, Dre is at chemo with Jada, not answering the text messages, the phone calls, because Nina is trying to call and tell her something is wrong with Keisha, right? So she's like, induce labor? Okay, if that's what you need to do. So Octavia was like, no, we don't need to induce labor yet. She's not far enough along. And this is the thing. Some doctors do not care about black women when they're giving birth. We are more likely to die while giving birth than any other race. It's just so hard for us. We're more likely to die while giving birth. We have to face racism. Everything that a black person or a black woman and a black man has to go through, it's just so much. Child, when you really break it down, honey, we're not safe anywhere. Nowhere is safe. Jada said, she doesn't want to tell Nina. She doesn't want Dre telling Nina because she hasn't told Emmett yet. Girl, what does that have to do with her telling Nina? That has nothing to do with that. Nina can be trusted to keep this. Dre, you need to tell her because, child, I'm just saying, you just gonna need to go ahead and tell your wife what's happening because this is a stupid secret to keep. All you have to do is say, hey, I'm gonna be taking Jada to the doctor. That's it. Across town, Jake moving in on Jemma and her fro, okay? Her lash falls off, right? And he makes her make a wish. So after she made the wish, they kiss. He said, oh, I thought you wished for something else. I thought you wished for more than a kiss. And she said, what did you think? He said, I thought you wished you was my girl. Baby. Jake ain't got no bro code, honey. Then they go in, start kissing and whatnot. At the trap house, Trig rolls up asking for Trinity. So everybody pulls out a gun on him. He pulls a gun out on them back. But we all know how this is finna get ready to go down, right? He said he ain't scared to die. Over on the other side, Octavia is telling Keisha that she needs to get a second opinion about being induced, which I agree with, right? So Nina was like, so are you a doctor? She's like, no, but I lost enough babies to know that this is not the right thing to do. Okay, Nina. So, honey, stand down. So then she asked Keisha what she ate today. Keisha starts naming all these things, and judging from that menu, no wonder you have high blood pressure. You cannot eat whatever you want. I know there's this myth that you think because, you're pregnant, eating for two, you can just eat whatever. But no, you have to eat right, because if you don't, it will affect you and will cause you to go into preterm labor. Emmett is over at Jada's house and, she's really sick from the chemo, right? This is the next scene. So he walks up to her. He's like, Mom, you're not pregnant, are you? So she's kneeling down by the commode and she turns around and tells him she has cancer. Child, oh my goodness. My whole heart dropped and the color in his face completely left. I cannot imagine. At the hospital, after drinking some water and calming her nerves, Keisha's blood pressure is back to normal and she decides Octavia is the one for her baby, especially after she helped her to not be induced when she wasn't ready. Kevin walking around constantly calling Jemma, but she's sneaking around with Jake, right? So they're arguing about who kissed who. Jake's like, you kissed me. She's like, what does that have to do with anything? You enjoyed it. So, honey, she got mad and starts walking off the opposite direction. Jake talking to her all crazy. And now they're sneaking around. Dre at home getting dinner ready, right? Because, she didn't answer the phone because she was taking Jada to the chemotherapy, right? So Nina walks in. Nina and Keisha get home. And Nina is like, Keisha almost died. She's so dramatic. She's like, I did not almost die. I had Braxton Hicks. Okay. She's a mess. After that, we go to the next scene and Emmett gets home and Tiff is there, right? Tiff ain't never with her baby. What kind of mom is she? She is never with that child. So Emmett walks in with the baby. Where he got him from, I'm not sure. It couldn't have been Jada because she was at chemo. So I guess it was with her mom, who we've never seen. Child, this is a mess. Emmett sits down at the table because, he just found out that Jada has cancer, right? So Emmett sat down at the table and Tiff said, what's wrong? He said, how you always know? Well, you look like something's wrong. Honey, even I know. And I'm not with you. Although I wish I was. But that's neither here nor there. But she should know, honey, because you can just look at your face and tell. She's like, it's because we're connected. Are you now? Then he starts crying. Oh, my God. Y'all, my heart just broke for him. This is so heavy. And y'all know it's dark up and through. Child, it's even dark in the school. I'm like, oh, my goodness, it's a mess. Dre is asleep, okay? And the phone goes off with a text that's from Jada saying, thanks for keeping our secret. I knew that was the direction they were going to take this storyline. I just knew it. Over in the next scene, we see Trig, and he comes home with the cell phone and slides it on the table and gives it to Imani. He said, did you give her that? She said, yeah, I gave it to her. And he said, well, I went to see Nuck. And she said, okay, so where is she? He said they found her body over on Bishop. Oh, my, and that was the end of the episode. And Imani got up and walked away. And this is what I was thinking. I was like, look, if you would have just stopped for a moment and tried to go and help her when Imani said something, then maybe this would not have happened. And also now this makes me feel like Imani is going to really resent Trig because he didn't help when she asked him to help. So it could just be a big old mess all the way up and through. But I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen on the next episode, but hopefully it gets better and better. Y'all don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.